Hi, this is Daniel J. Lewis from the Audacity to Podcast.com. I want to show you some more things that you can use Jarvis from the Audacity to Podcast.com/Jarvis to help make your podcast better, help you come up with content, come up with better titles, promote your podcast better, even get some search engine optimization with your podcast. It's incredible what you can do with this tool. This is my new favorite tool. It is called Jarvis, available through the website at the Audacity to Podcast.com/Jarvis. Now, we love podcast reviews, and this has a pretty cool tool for what you can do when you receive a review. Like, have you ever received a review that you just don't know how to respond to it? Like, do you just say, thanks for the review? Or do you want to say something with a bit more depth, especially if it's a negative review? Because when we get that negative review, I think we are more emotionally engaged in it, and we're just offended at first. We don't know how to respond appropriately. Well, this review responder template can be super helpful for that. So here's what I'll do. Looking at my own podcast, the Audacity to Podcast, on my own service, mypodcastreviews.com. Check it out. Try it free for a little bit. I will look at only my 1- and 2-star reviews. So these are the negative reviews I've received over the years. And I have a few negative reviews, and let's find one that actually has some depth to it. So I was playing with this one earlier, or one of these earlier. Let's use this one. So it says, not a fan. Daniel, the way you breathe into the mic is incredibly distracting and you sound awkward. I couldn't get past the first episode. This was back in 2013. I'd like to think that my audio technique has improved since then, even though I'm not using a pop filter right now. So here's what we'll do. I'll copy that review text, come over here, paste that into the review section, and copy the person's name and paste that in. And this is for the Audacity to Podcast, so product/company name. And this is a 2-star review. And we can give this a different tone of voice, but I'm just going to use the default tone of voice that it gives, which is usually a professional sounding tone of voice, and generate the content. So we receive this negative review. We don't really know what to say to it. I don't know. So here's the suggested response. This is my first time reading this for this review. Thanks for your review, Jessalon. I appreciate you taking the time to share feedback about our show, and I'm sorry that it's not what you were expecting. That right there, that's good. That sounds good. It's just upfront apologizing that we're not meeting their expectations. I want to make sure that we have a chance to address any concerns you may have had. So please email me and we can replace this email protected with your actual email address with more details about what didn't work for you and why. That's pretty good. I want to see what else it can come up with. So I'll just click this button again, and we can change the number of outputs. So if we want to see 3 outputs right away, and read through those. All right. Hi, Jessalon. Thanks for your feedback. I'm sorry to hear that your experience of my podcast was not a positive one. It's something I take very, very seriously and want to improve on. That's also very good. I've listened back to the first episode. Look at that. It mentioned the first episode in the review, and here the AI is referencing that first episode. I listened back to the first episode and made some adjustments based on what you pointed out. So please do give it another try if you're interested in hearing more about how podcasters can get better at their craft. That is fantastic. And here's the thing, how podcasters can get better at their craft. That is what my podcast is about. That's not mentioned anywhere here. What I think the AI may have done, because this was fed content in, I think, 2017, from 2017, 2018, and maybe a little from 2019. I think it just did some basic AI searching on what is the Audacity to Podcast about, came up with that, and determined that it should include this line about how podcasters can get better at their craft. That is really smart AI right there, because that's not mentioned anywhere in here that's what the podcast is about. That's really cool. Let's try another negative review. This one's a little long, but because there's this character limit. So I'm just going to grab these first 2 lines and paste this in. And let's grab this, if that'll fit as well. Yeah, we can fit that in. And grab the person's name. And this is a 1-star review. I'll generate 2 outputs to see how it looks. 1 minute of information wrapped in 30 minutes of self-promotion. This podcast has almost no content. It's a merciless listener grab and an affiliate marketing attempt. This one hit me hard when I got this one because it was everything I was trying to avoid doing because I heard other podcasts being like this, and that they wrote this about me really hurt because it was everything I didn't want to be. Packed with worthless buzzwords like how to and top 5, but it doesn't deliver. He seems like a nice guy, and I'm surprised he would try to treat people as naive cash cows and listener statistics. Ouch. This one really hurt because it was saying I was doing everything that I wasn't trying to do. I still kind of wonder, did this person actually listen to my podcast? Because I really believe that I don't do this. Anyway, here are the suggested review responses. Hi, I'm going to pronounce that Gyra. Thanks for the feedback, and I'm sorry to hear you didn't enjoy our podcast. We're committed to creating a podcast that offers something of value to listeners, not just one that's entertaining. We want people who listen to our show to feel like they've learned something new and have been inspired in some way. That said, we know there are many podcasts out there with different goals, so it's always great when people let us know what they don't like about ours. I didn't really like that one. I'm going to delete that one. Thanks for taking the time to review the Audacity to Podcast, Gyra. I'm sorry you didn't find it helpful. It is true that my podcast is a marketing strategy and affiliate marketing opportunity, but there are also 30 plus episodes of content with interviews from experts, entrepreneurs, authors, etc., as well as practical tips and resources on how to start your own podcast or improve yours. So while I do have an incentive to get people onto my email list through this free resource, I hope they'll stay for more than just the promo or one episode. I like this one. That is beautiful. Yes, there are some things factually incorrect. I've mentioned this in a previous video too. I can just click into this and remove anything. Like I don't do interviews here, so I could just come in and edit that, change it to something else that my other 30 plus episodes do contain. And it's not only 30 plus, it's more like 340 plus episodes of content. So it's guessing on some of the facts. That's fine. I can just correct those facts. But it's the context, the feeling of this review that I think is great. It is saying that, and is this an affiliate marketing opportunity, my podcast? No, I do mention affiliates here and there, and I am an affiliate for Jarvis. So if you purchase through my affiliate link, I do earn a commission. I only promote products that I truly believe in, though, and this is one I really enjoy, and I do truly believe in this product. That's why I enjoy promoting it right now. It's true that my podcast is a marketing strategy. Yes, that is true. My podcast is a marketing strategy. I'm marketing for podcasting, and also it is helping market my business. And I need it to market my business because my business is how I make money. So this is a very good review that is acknowledging certain facts, some things I need to correct in it because it doesn't know me, my mind. But still, this is a great foundation for a way to respond positively to this negative review. And I love this last part. So while I do have an incentive to get people onto my email list through this free resource, and I could say that differently, while I do have an incentive to grow my business through my free podcast, so I could edit that a little bit, I hope that my listeners stay for more than just the promo or one episode. That's great, a great starting point. And this can also help shape my thinking too for how to respond to other negative reviews. So that's one way you can use Jarvis with your podcast to better engage with your audience. We can go back to the templates, and I want to show you a way that you can come up with better titles for your podcast episodes. And we'll go to the video titles. Now, right now, they have some crossover between video items and blog items. Like you might see that there's blog post topic ideas up there, and there are video topic ideas down here as well. These are slightly different algorithms, I'm told, because certain things rank better on a video platform than rank on a blog platform, but they are essentially doing the same thing. So you could try the same inputs on both of these, but the one I want to try is video titles. And this can apply to podcast titles as well. And I keep asking them, would you just maybe put in here podcast/video or video/podcast? so that podcasters will know this can be relevant too. So here's one I was playing with earlier, but when I click generate, it's going to create completely new results. So what the video is about, my video is going to be about how to start a podcast. What's the keyword I want to rank for? Podcasting. I haven't put in a tone of voice. Now here are some of the results. How to start a podcast. 3 simple steps, 3 easy steps to a podcast. Intro to podcasting, a guide to podcasting 101, 5 simple steps. Start your own podcast with everything you need for free. I'm running a podcast and you can too. The best iOS apps for recording your own podcast. These are great titles. And not only can these be great titles to use for this particular piece of content that I might be trying to plan or about to record, these can also be great titles for other content. So if I've created a guide for how to start a podcast, I'm just trying to come up with the main title. Well, this title right here gives me an idea for other content I could create, not just creating a podcast, but what about creating a podcast only from an iOS device? I could use that as additional content I could create. These are giving me some great titles for my show, for episodes that I could cover, as well as we can get into some search engine optimization stuff too. So there are these different SEO templates to use: blog post, title and meta description, homepage, product page, services page. So I think for podcasters, this blog posts or video template would be best. So if you see something that says blog posts or videos, most likely that can apply to podcasters too, because that's creating content. These other things are more about selling a product or service or promoting the overall brand. And you could use those for your podcast as well on those appropriate pages on your site. But I think for most podcasters, this blog post title and description would be ideal. So here I will put the Audacity podcast is the name, the blog post title, how to start a podcast, blog post description. Now, this description here does not need to be search engine optimized. This is simply describing it so the AI can give me back a search engine optimized post. So I'll put in here, learn how to start a podcast for under $100, and then how to grow and monetize that podcast. Keyword. Let's see. I want the keyword to be start a podcast. And keywords don't have to be an individual word. Let's have it generate 2 outputs for this time. I can keep pressing this button and it will keep generating outputs as well. So title, how to start a podcast, the Audacity podcast. Meta description, if you have something important to say, why not record it and share it with the world? Here's how you can get started with your own podcast. Now note, get started with your own podcast does include that keyword, start a podcast. Keywords to include in meta description and SEO titles. Yeah, I don't quite understand what that is doing there. I think it's describing something based on what I read or entered. Meta description, you don't need thousands of dollars in equipment or an engineering degree. Here's how to start a podcast for under $100 and grow your brand online. That's great. I just want to see 2 other examples of what it might give me. How to start a podcast. Use this guide to learn how to start a podcast for under $100 and then use some of the tips and tricks shared in this article on how to grow and monetize that podcast. Keyword density. Oh, so it's giving me some analytics along with this. That's pretty cool too. Keyword density 15%. Want to start a podcast but don't know where or how? Then you've come to the right place. This post will teach how anyone can create, launch, and grow a successful podcast for under $100. That is fantastic. So these are good SEO descriptions that I can use. And you can use these kinds of descriptions for other things too, like your videos on YouTube. In fact, they have a video description for YouTube thing right there. This is something else I enjoy that can help what you say in your podcast, not just what you cover on that overall level and leaving it up to you to figure out exactly what words to use. But your video script hook and introduction could also be podcast script hook and introduction. Create a video intro that will capture your viewers' attention and compel them to watch all the way through. Or we could say, listen all the way through. So we'll say how to start a podcast in 2021, tone of voice, leave it blank, and just have it generate a few hooks. And these would be what you say at the beginning of your episodes. It could be before you have any audio branding whatsoever, or it could be after your audio branding. So the hook, the way they're designing it is the hook is what you say before your branding and the introduction is what you say after, or this could be without any kind of audio branding. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to show you how to start a podcast in 2021, or in this podcast episode, I'm going to tell you how to start a podcast in 2021. Hey there, my name is Daniel J. Lewis, and today I'm going to be talking about starting a podcast. It's not too hard, and it doesn't take much time either. All you have to do is sign up for an account with Libsyn or Blueberry. That it even mentioned those. I didn't mention Libsyn or Blueberry anywhere in here, but it knows because of the information that's been entered into this and how it's working with artificial intelligence. It knows about Libsyn and Blueberry. That's great. I could change those if there's a different host I wanted to recommend, like Captivate or something else. I could change that to say all you have to do is sign up for an account with Captivate. If you're just starting out, buy some equipment from like a microphone or webcam, set up your recording software, and boom, you've got yourself a new hobby that can make money while giving people something they love so they come back for more every week. Let me show you how it's done. That's a good hook. Here's another one. In this video, I'll show you how to start a podcast in 2021. My name is Daniel J. Lewis, and today I'm going to share with you my blueprint for starting a successful podcast. You're probably wondering, why should I listen? That's the wrong question. The right question is, what are you waiting for? That's pretty cool. I like how that threw that back at them. Third one. In this video, I'm going to show you how to start a podcast in 2021. Hi there. My name is Daniel J. Lewis, and today we're going to talk about starting a podcast in 2021. There's been a lot of change since the last time podcasts were really popular, and it can be hard for people who are just getting started now. So I put together some tips on what you need to know before diving into your own podcast project. These are great starting hooks. And this isn't for SEO. This is for you catching their attention, convincing them why they need to keep listening or watching, and continuing on. Let's look at some of the other templates. One more template. Now we can do a similar thing with a blog post in intro paragraph. So for this, I'll put in, again, the Audacity to podcast. The audience is podcasters. Blog post title, how to start a podcast in 2021. Tone of voice. This time, let's try witty, just to see what it says. Wait for the AI to generate the content. It's going to give me 3 outputs. With the recent boom of podcasts and increased listener demand, it's never been a better time to get started with podcasting. The question is, how do you start? Oh, I like that one. That's really good. You might be thinking, I'm not an expert in digital marketing or social media. What am I qualified to write about? Now, see, factually incorrect, but we could change this to say, what am I qualified to podcast about? Don't worry, you're already a pro at something. Podcasting is a great way to share your experience with the world and make money doing it. It's all about connecting what you know with what other people want and need. If you have experience podcasting, we could change that there to say, if you have experience blogging, then this post is for you. One more. Welcome to the Audacity to Podcast, a podcast about podcasting. In this blog post, I will show you how to start your own podcast in 2021. I'm going to assume that you have some sort of idea of a show and are eager to get started. You also happen to be someone who is more technologically savvy than average and can handle all the technical aspects of running a modern-day online-only business. First off, there is no need for fancy equipment or an expensive studio space unless you want one of those things. With today's technology, it's entirely possible and quite easy to set up recording sessions with yourself using just your phone and speaker system, then editing everything on your laptop or desktop computer later on. These are great intro paragraphs. All 3 of them are really good. With a little bit of tweaking, they can be fantastic and absolutely relevant for my content. You could do this with whatever your podcast is about too. For your intro paragraphs, for titles, for what you say in the beginning of your podcast, there's so much here that can be used to help you grow and improve your podcast. So how do you get all of this? Go to the audacitytopodcast.com/Jarvis and click on the Get Started link. Sign up here. You'll get some credits that you can use, and they have a great pricing plan that I think is really worth it with the time you're saving, the brain cells you're saving, because this can help you with so much of your writing, as well as your content creation and promotion of your podcast and your content. This is just such an amazing tool. I really like it. I use it myself. I've used it for several things already. I'm using it with some split testing for marketing and seeing good results. I've used it sometimes to just get me out of the rut of writer's block. That's the other thing, is if we are sitting on an idea of, I want to do an episode about this thing, or here's something basic that I want to talk about, like the content improver. I want to talk about how to choose, or this is the best microphone for podcasting. What's a better way to say that? Well, let's just generate the content with the AI through the content improver and see what it says. We've all been there trying to record a video or podcast and the audio just isn't working out. Now you can stop worrying about that unwanted echo in your recording because you have the best microphone for podcasting. This mic has everything from noise reduction to an optimal frequency range. You won't believe how clear your recordings will sound with this awesome mic. That's great. Now, some things might be factually incorrect, like maybe the particular microphone doesn't have noise reduction. I can change that. Some of the things that might be factually incorrect, but this is a great framework. So all of this and more, you can use Jarvis to do for you. And there are so many great testimonials of what this is doing for other people. And in fact, if you watch this long enough, I think you'll see one of my testimonials show up as well in their list. We won't stay there and watch for long, but there's so much that you can do with this. Even though they're saying that it's for entrepreneurs, marketers, and agencies and such, I think this can also work great for podcasters. It can help you come up with content for your podcast. It can help you find better ways to present that content, ways to market your content and market your podcast overall. I really, really like this. So use that link below this video that I've shared elsewhere, the audacitytopodcast.com/Jarvis. And that is my affiliate link. I do earn a commission if you sign up, but I'm recommending this because I truly believe in it. I am a paying customer myself. I use this and it saves me a bunch of time, gets me out of writer's block, podcaster's block, content creator's block. It helps me write better content to communicate certain ideas better. It helps me get certain ideas that are just jumbled in my brain that I don't really know how to describe it, but I write it down. It can help me improve that and put it in writing what I'm trying to communicate. It's amazing what this thing can do. I think you'll really like it. Check it out and try it for yourself. The audacitytopodcast.com/Jarvis. And I'm Daniel J. Lewis from theaudacitytopodcast.com. Thanks for watching.